a penthouse in Knightsbridge that costs more than a private island, a wedding that cost $6 million and included a custom-built glass pavilion, and a bank account so large that it was once frozen by the High Court just to figure out where all the money came from. Most people think the queens of London wealth are the royals in Buckingham Palace or the wives of Russian oligarchs. They are looking at the old money. They should be looking at the new power. Hidden behind the Georgian facades of Mayfair and the gated estates of Surrey is a circle of women who have quietly conquered the financial capital of the world. They are not just socialites. They are oil tycoons, fintech pioneers, and media moguls who didn't just break the glass ceiling. They bought the building. We are tracking the property deeds, the leaked financial documents, and the record-breaking acquisitions to uncover the richest black women in London. These are the women who turned adversity into empires. Some built it from scratch in a council estate. Others inherited it and fought entire governments to keep it. Wait until you see number 1. She is a woman who lives so quietly that you might walk past her on the street. But she shares a net worth that makes her the wealthiest black person in the history of the United Kingdom. Number 7. Patricia Bright, the digital architect. Source of wealth: media and investments. Estimated net worth: over £5 million. We start with the woman who proved that you don't need oil wells or a banking license to build a fortune in modern London. You just need a camera and a killer instinct. Patricia Bright. Before she was the queen of British YouTube, Patricia was a girl growing up on a council estate in South London. This wasn't a life of luxury. It was a life of survival. She knew what it felt like to be broke. She remembers doing girls' hair in the school playground for £5 just to make the dinner money her parents couldn't afford. She followed the traditional path: university, a degree, a job in the city as a financial analyst. But inside the glass walls of the investment banks, she felt like an outsider. She was living a double life: a corporate consultant by day and a content creator by night, filming videos in her bathroom while her family slept. The turning point came when she realized her side hustle was making more money than her salary. She took the terrifying leap to quit the corporate rat race. But unlike other influencers who spent their money on designer bags, Patricia did something different. She invested it. She launched The Break, a platform dedicated to financial literacy for women. She didn't just show people how to spend, she taught them how to earn. This pivot from beauty guru to financial educator exploded her brand value. But here is the insider detail that most people miss. Her wealth isn't in the YouTube views. It's in the back-end infrastructure. Patricia operates like a media house. She has diversified into property investments, buying homes in London and renovating them for massive profit. She has launched hair product lines and collaborated with global giants like Amazon and pristine fashion labels. She revealed in a video that, in a single year, her business generated huge revenue, numbers that rival small tech startups. She isn't paid a wage, she is paid in equity and asset appreciation. Today, she lives in a stunning, fully renovated home in London that is a masterclass in modern luxury. It features a custom-designed kitchen, a walk-in wardrobe that looks like a high-end boutique, and a garden office where she runs her empire. She drives a Range Rover and vacations in the most exclusive resorts in the world. She turned a £5 hair braiding hustle into a multi-million-pound brand. Patricia built her fortune on the internet, but our next tycoon built hers by challenging the British government itself. She is the woman who stopped Brexit in its tracks, and her bank account is as formidable as her legal team. Number 6. Gina Miller, the city disruptor. Source of wealth: investment management. Estimated net worth: £10 million. If you follow British politics, you know her name. Gina Miller. She is the woman who took the British government to the Supreme Court twice and won. But behind the headlines is a financial heavy hitter who manages money for the super rich. Gina's story is one of resilience. She was born in Guyana to the Attorney General, but was sent to England for school. When she was a teenager, Guyana implemented strict currency controls, and her family could no longer send money. At age 14, the daughter of the Attorney General was working as a chambermaid in hotels to pay her way. She was bullied. She was attacked. But she didn't break. She studied law and marketing, fighting her way into the male-dominated world of the City of London's financial district. The shift happened when she co-founded SCM Direct, now SCM Private, with her husband, Alan Miller, who was known as Mr. Hedge Fund in the city. They launched a wealth management firm that challenged the establishment. They criticized the hidden fees and lack of transparency in the industry. They made enemies, but they also made a fortune. Most people think her wealth comes from her husband, but Gina is the marketing genius and the operational backbone of the firm. SCM Direct manages hundreds of millions of pounds in assets. But her secret power is her ability to monetize her influence. Her legal battles made her a global brand. She used that platform to write books like Rise, Life Lessons in Speaking Out, and to launch campaigns for transparency in business. She turned her notoriety into a symbol of integrity, which is a currency of its own in the financial world. Her lifestyle is one of intellectual luxury. She lives in a sprawling home in London, filled with art and books. But her true asset is her independence. She has faced death threats and abuse that would force most people into hiding, yet she walks the streets of London without fear. She spent hundreds of thousands of her own money on legal fees to challenge the government, a flex that proves she has forget-you money. Gina Miller fights in the courtroom, but our next tycoon fights on the cinema screen. She is the Oprah of Africa, and she is building a new palace right in the heart of London. Number 5. Mo Abudu, the media empress. Source of wealth, media and entertainment. Estimated net worth, multi-millions. She has been named by Forbes as one of the most powerful women in global media. Mo Abudu. She is the woman who took African storytelling and sold it to Netflix, Sony, and the world. And now, she is conquering London real estate. Mo was born in London but sent to live with her grandmother in Nigeria at age 7. She returned to the UK at 11. She didn't start in media. She started as a recruitment consultant and an HR executive for ExxonMobil. She had a safe, high-paying corporate job. But she had a nagging feeling that the world only saw one side of Africa, the poverty and the war. She wanted to show the glamour, the business, and the success. Everyone told her she was crazy to leave oil for TV. She did it anyway. She launched Ebony Life TV, Africa's first global black entertainment network. She didn't just make shows, she made premium content. She created The Wedding Party, which smashed box office records in Nigeria. Then came the mega deal. In 2020, she signed a multi-title deal with Netflix, the first of its kind for an African media company. She then signed deals with Sony Pictures Television and AMC Networks. She became the bridge between Hollywood and Nollywood. But here is the London connection that puts her on this list. Mo Abudu is expanding her physical empire to the UK. She has officially acquired a property on Wandsworth Road in London to launch Ebony Life Place London. This isn't just an office. It is set to be a luxury Afrocentric members club and resort, mirroring her massive Ebony Life Place in Lagos, which features a boutique hotel, cinema, and fine dining restaurants. Mo Abudu lives a transcontinental lifestyle that defines jet set. She has a residence in London that is a sanctuary of style, likely in a prime borough like Kensington or St. John's Wood, given her status. She wears couture from the world's top designers and counts global celebrities and heads of state as her personal friends. She proved that you can take African culture, package it with high-end production values, and sell it to the world for millions. Mo Abudu builds media empires, but our next woman built a financial empire so successful she sold it for £200 million. She is the only black woman to ever enter the Sunday Times Rich list as a self-made millionaire. Number 4. Valerie Moran, the FinTech Queen. Source of wealth, financial technology. Estimated net worth, £200 million. In the history of the Sunday Times Rich list, the definitive guide to UK wealth, only one black female entrepreneur has ever cracked the top 1,000. Her name is Valerie Moran. She is the FinTech Queen who turned a prepaid card business into a 9-figure exit. Valerie was born in Zimbabwe to a family of entrepreneurs. Her father ran a bakery and a school uniform factory. She learned the hustle early. But when the Zimbabwean economy collapsed, the opportunities dried up. She moved to London in 2003, a brilliant systems analyst looking for a future. She met her husband, Noel Moran, and they saw a gap in the market. People who couldn't get bank accounts needed a way to pay for things online. They decided to start a company, Prepaid Financial Services, PFS. They didn't have venture capital funding. They didn't have investors. They started it from their kitchen table in London in 2008, right in the middle of the global financial crash. They put everything they had into it. For years, they ground it out. They built the technology that powered prepaid cards for councils, governments, and mobile operators across Europe. While other startups were burning cash, they were profitable from year one. Then, in 2019, the payday arrived. They sold prepaid financial services to a French company, EML Payments, for a deal valued at up to £281 million, $350 million. Valerie owned 81.5% of the company alongside her husband. Her personal stake made her instantly one of the wealthiest women in the country. But the sale almost didn't happen. The deal was renegotiated at the last minute due to the pandemic and regulatory concerns, dropping the upfront cash. Even with the drop, they walked away with a fortune that most people can't comprehend. So, how does the fintech queen live? Before moving to Ireland post-sale, the Morans lived in London luxury, but their wealth allows for a lifestyle of total freedom. Valerie is known for her impeccable style, wearing Dolce & Gabbana and Gucci, but she is also a massive philanthropist. She helped donate 200,000 school meals to children in Mali. She treats wealth not just as a scorecard, but as a tool. She proved that you don't need to be a man, and you don't need to be white, to dominate the City of London's tech scene. Valerie sold her company for millions, but our next woman owns assets that are worth billions. But there is a catch. She is the richest woman in Africa, but her London home is the center of a global mystery. Number 3. Folorunsho Alakija, the oil baroness. Source of wealth, oil and fashion. Estimated net worth, over £1 billion. Folorunsho Alakija is a legend. She is one of the richest black women on the planet. She is Nigerian, but her footprint in London is so deep and so expensive that she is a key player in the city's ultra-prime real estate market. Folorunsho didn't start in oil. She started as a secretary. She worked in a bank in Nigeria in the 1970s. Then she moved to London to study fashion. She launched a fashion label, Supreme Stitches, making clothes for the wives of military generals. It was through these connections that she got a foothold in the oil industry. She applied for a license to explore for oil in a block of water that nobody wanted. It was deep offshore, expensive to drill, and considered useless. She partnered with Texaco to drill. They struck oil, a lot of oil. The block, OML 127, turned out to be part of the Agbami field, one of Nigeria's largest deep-water discoveries. The Nigerian government tried to take it back. They said, "We didn't know there was that much oil there." Folorunsho didn't back down. She sued the government. She fought them for 12 years all the way to the Supreme Court, and she won. Now, let's talk about her London assets. Folorunsho Alakija is one of the few people in the world who owns property in One Hyde Park. One Hyde Park in Knightsbridge is the most expensive apartment block in the world. It has bulletproof glass, a panic room, and room service from the Mandarin Oriental Hotel next door. Reports indicate that Alakija doesn't just own one apartment there, she owns 5. Let me repeat that. 5 apartments in the most expensive building on Earth. Her total investment in One Hyde Park is estimated to be over £100 million. But that's not all. She has a mansion in Hampstead, one of London's leafiest and richest suburbs. Her real estate portfolio in the UK alone is worth more than the GDP of some small islands. She lives a life of devout Christianity and extreme opulence. She famously threw a wedding for her son at Blenheim Palace in the UK that cost £5 million. They flew in 1 million roses. They covered the floor with a custom carpet with the couple's initials. It was a display of wealth that shocked even the British aristocracy. Alakija owns the apartments, but our next woman owns a mansion so controversial that it has been frozen by the courts. She was once the richest woman in Africa, and her London home is the fortress where she made her last stand. Number 2. Isabel dos Santos, the fallen princess. Source of wealth, investments. Estimated net worth, over £1.5 billion. She was the first African woman to become a billionaire. Isabel dos Santos, the daughter of the former president of Angola. She was known as the princess. She dined with royalty, partied with Hollywood stars, and bought London real estate like it was monopoly money. Isabel's struggle is different. It is the struggle of legitimacy. She claimed she was a self-made genius who started by selling eggs and trucking. The world believed her for a while. She built stakes in Portuguese banks, energy companies, and telecoms. Then came the Luanda leaks. A massive investigation revealed that her fortune was built on nepotism and deals signed by her father. The Angolan government went after her. Her assets were frozen. Her empire began to crumble. But even a frozen empire is still an empire. We are focusing on her life in London. Isabel dos Santos owns a massive mansion in Kensington, one of the most expensive postcodes in the world. The property is located in a private gated community near Kensington Palace. Yes, where Prince William lives. The value? Estimated at £21 million to £25 million. But it wasn't enough for her. Reports surfaced that she planned to knock it down and build a mega basement or iceberg home. She wanted to dig down to create an underground swimming pool, a spa, a massage room, and a walk-in safe. Think about that. A walk-in safe in your basement in London. Currently, this home is at the center of a legal war. The High Court in London has ordered a freeze on up to £580 million of her assets. She claims she is innocent, a victim of political persecution. Regardless of the legal outcome, Isabel dos Santos represents the peak of global status, wealth in London. The kind of wealth that is so vast, it requires international courts to untangle it. She lives in a world where losing $1 billion is just a bad Tuesday. Isabel represents the volatile side of wealth, but our number 1 spot represents the stable, unstoppable, compounding power of a true dynasty. She is the wife of the first black billionaire on the Sunday Times Rich list, and together, they run London. Number 1. Titi Masiwa, the quiet power. Source of wealth, telecoms and technology. Estimated net worth, over £2 billion. We have arrived at number 1, the woman who sits at the top of the mountain. She is not a socialite. She is not a pop star. She is Titi Masiwa. She is the wife and partner of Strive Masiwa, the Zimbabwean telecommunications tycoon, who made history as the first black billionaire to enter the Sunday Times Rich list. Their story is the ultimate thriller. In the 1990s, Strive and Titi fought the Zimbabwean government for 5 years just to get a license to operate a cell phone network. They were threatened. They were harassed. They almost lost everything. The government wanted to maintain a monopoly. They fought back in court. They won. Econet Wireless was born. They fled Zimbabwe and eventually settled in London. But they didn't just come to live. They came to conquer. Strive Masiwa built a global empire that includes liquid intelligent technologies, which creates the fiber optic networks that connect the entire African continent. While Strive runs the business, Titi runs the Higher Life Foundation. This isn't a small charity. They have paid for the school fees of over 250,000 children. They are the Bill and Melinda Gates of Africa, operating from London. Let's talk about their London assets. The Masiwas live in a detached mansion on an exclusive private estate in Surrey, just outside London. The value? Estimated at over £2.5 million, but likely much higher given the current market. But their real trophy assets are in the United States, managed from their London base. They bought 2 adjacent apartments atop the El Dorado Tower in New York City for $24.5 million. This is old money territory. In 2022, Strive Masiwa's wealth was officially estimated at £1.087 billion by the Sunday Times, but Forbes has listed the family fortune as high as $2.7 billion. Titi is not just a wife, she is a strategic partner. She is a board member, a philanthropist, and a global influencer who sits on boards with people like Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott. The Masiwa family represents the pinnacle of black wealth in London. They are private, they are powerful, and they are profoundly impactful. They don't need to show off on Instagram because they are too busy wiring the internet for an entire continent. Titi Masiwa proves that the ultimate luxury isn't a handbag or a car. It is impact. It is the ability to change the lives of millions of people while living in quiet, unshakable comfort in the heart of the global elite. From the digital empire of Patricia Bright to the oil billions of Folorunsho Alakija and the quiet dynasty of Titi Masiwa, these women have rewritten the rules of London society. They didn't wait for a seat at the table. They bought the table, the building, and the street it sits on. They prove that in London, the color of power is not white or black. It is gold. So, which of these stories impressed you the most? Was it the hustle of the YouTuber or the resilience of the oil tycoon? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden wealth of the elite. I'll see you in the next one.